There comes a point in every destiny where waiting becomes disobedience, a moment where silence becomes irresponsibility, a moment where hesitation becomes a luxury you can no longer afford. That moment is not tomorrow. That moment is not next week. That moment is not when everything is perfect. That moment is now. It's time to do something. For too long, many have mistaken reflection for progress. You have analyzed, evaluated, calculated, revised, polished, and reconsidered the same idea for months and years, yet nothing has changed. You have prayed about what you should have acted upon. You have delayed what you were anointed to begin. And heaven is now echoing one message into your spirit: move. Everything you desire to become, everything you have seen in dreams and visions, everything your heart keeps whispering at night, it is all locked behind one action you have been afraid to take. Your next level is not waiting for more prophecy, it is waiting for your obedience. Prophecy announces seasons, but action activates them. There are battles you will never win until you step onto the field. There are doors that will never open until you walk toward them. There are resources that will never find you until you start building. Grace flows toward movement. Favor follows initiative. Heaven responds to steps, not intentions. You cannot keep blaming circumstances, people, or the environment for where you are. At some point, you must confront the version of yourself that is comfortable with stagnation. Greatness does not come to the qualified, it comes to the committed. Men do not rise by wishes, they rise by decisions. And today, heaven is demanding one thing from you, a decision. Look at your life. There are dreams buried under fear. There are potentials trapped behind excuses. There are abilities suffocating under procrastination. You have convinced yourself that you are waiting on God, but in truth, God has been waiting on you. Every year you delay, a generation suffers. Every day you postpone, an assignment remains undone. Every hour you hesitate, destiny quietly drifts away. There are moments when comfort becomes a cage. You are too gifted to remain where you are, too called to be quiet, too anointed to be idle, too graced to be ordinary. You cannot afford to sit and watch life happen to you. You must rise and begin to shape it with intentionality. The future does not respond to wishes. It responds to workers. Yes, the road may not be clear at the beginning. Yes, you may not have all the resources. Yes, you may feel inadequate. But hear this: progress is made by people who start before they feel ready. God never gives a full blueprint. He gives instructions. And instructions are invitations to action. When you move, clarity comes. When you move, help appears. When you move, strength rises. When you move, heaven backs you. Remember this: the world does not reward potential, it rewards results. And results don't come to dreamers, they come to doers. You must stop romanticizing the idea of what you want to become and begin the uncomfortable journey of becoming it. You cannot pray your way into realms that require work. You cannot confess your way into territories that demand courage. You cannot hope your way into platforms that require discipline. The difference between where you are and where you should be is not mystery. It is action. One step, one bold move. One decision to stop talking and start building, to stop dreaming and start executing, to stop wishing and start creating, to stop delaying and start becoming. There is a version of you that heaven designed, a version that walks in influence, wisdom, impact, excellence, authority, and responsibility. But that version will never appear until you take responsibility for the one decision you have refused to make. It's time to confront fear. It's time to silence doubt. It's time to rise above laziness. It's time to break cycles of procrastination. It's time to defy excuses. It's time to silence the voice that says, "Not yet." That voice is lying to you. Your season is here. Your time is now. Your destiny is calling, and the world is waiting for your manifestation. You have prayed. Now act. You have planned. Now build. You have learned. Now apply. You have dreamed, now begin. Delayed action is disguised disobedience. Your destiny will not advance until you move. There are moments in life when hesitation becomes more dangerous than failure, when the comfort of waiting becomes a subtle trap that robs you of the very future you were born to manifest. Many people think delay is harmless, a neutral space where nothing is gained. but nothing is lost. Yet delay is often the silent assassin of destiny, the quiet thief that steals time, opportunities, relationships, and seasons without making noise. There is a kind of delay that is rooted not in wisdom, but in fear, not in preparation, but in procrastination, not in strategy, but in indecision. And every time you entertain that delay, you unconsciously give permission for your purpose to drift farther away. You stand still while time keeps moving, and destiny refuses to wait for those who refuse to act. Every dream that burns within your heart is a responsibility placed upon you by heaven. It is not just a desire, it is an assignment, and assignments demand action. When you postpone what you should begin today, you are not only delaying progress, you are resisting purpose. That resistance, even when wrapped in excuses or rationalizations, is a form of disobedience. You may tell yourself that you are waiting for the perfect moment, the ideal environment, or the complete plan. But perfect moments rarely exist, ideal environments rarely appear, and complete plans rarely unfold before movement begins. Most breakthroughs come to those who dare to start with what they have, who step forward before they feel qualified, who trust that clarity will come as they obey the nudge to begin. There is a dangerous comfort in overthinking, a deceptive peace in remaining where you are simply because the next step looks uncertain. But comfort zones are prisons without visible bars. They keep you safe, but they keep you small. Every time you delay obedience, you reinforce the walls of that prison. You feed the voice of fear that whispers reasons to stay still. You empower the doubts that tell you you're not ready. Yet readiness is rarely a prerequisite for greatness. Most people who changed the world began unprepared, unsure, and imperfect. What separated them from others was not superior ability, but superior willingness to move. Your destiny is not advanced by wishes, intentions, or potential. It moves only when you move. The laws of progress respond to action, not contemplation. Vision without execution is a beautifully decorated prison of unrealized potential. You may see the greatness ahead, feel the weight of your calling, and know deep within that you are meant for more. But none of that can substitute for the step you need to take now. Every prophecy, every dream, every confirmation remains suspended until you do your part. Even divine help aligns itself with human movement. The moment you take the first step, the forces assigned to assist you awaken, but they cannot support a journey you refuse to start. There are doors designed to open only as you approach them, not while you stand across the room admiring their beauty. There are connections assigned to appear only after you step into the environment where they are waiting. There are resources that will not arrive until you begin to build the foundation that requires them. Many people cry for open doors while refusing to take the first steps toward those doors. But heaven does not honor passivity. It honors initiative. It honors faith expressed in action. It honors obedience demonstrated through movement. Some delays come disguised as logic. You tell yourself the timing isn't right, the economy isn't stable, the risk is too high, or the circumstances are unfavorable. Yet destiny is rarely birthed in convenience. Most great journeys begin in uncertainty. If you wait for conditions to be perfect, you may wait forever. The world you admire today was built by people who acted when it didn't make sense, who stepped out when others were stepping back, who saw possibility where others saw danger. They understood that the cost of inaction is often greater than the cost of failure. Failure can be corrected, but delay can become permanent. Your destiny will not advance until you move, because movement is a language. It tells heaven you are ready. It tells opportunities you are available. It tells fear you are no longer controlled by it. It tells life you are willing to participate in your own transformation. When you move, you signal that you take your assignment seriously. When you move, you declare that you trust the process even without full understanding. When you move, you unlock levels of grace, wisdom, strength, and favor that remain hidden from those who stay seated. There is a version of you that cannot emerge until you take the risk you've been avoiding. There is strength within you that will never show up until life demands it. There is creativity, resilience, excellence, and influence inside you that will remain dormant as long as you choose delay. Your future self is waiting for today's courage. Every advancement you desire is linked to a step you have not yet taken. Destiny is calling, but it cannot carry you forward while you cling to the safety of inactivity. Delayed action is not just a postponement of progress. It is a postponement of becoming the person you were created to be. You owe your future more than hesitation. You owe your calling more than fear. You owe your purpose more than excuses. You owe your destiny movement, because movement reveals commitment. Movement reveals faith. Movement reveals readiness, and until you move, destiny cannot introduce you to the spaces, people, and opportunities aligned with your next season. Greatness responds to responsibility. Stop waiting for clarity and start creating it. There is a moment in every destiny where you must stop asking for signs and begin becoming one. Many people think greatness is a mystery, a rare gift given to a chosen few. But greatness is simply what happens when ordinary people take extraordinary responsibility for their lives. Responsibility is the bridge between who you are and who you can become. It is the weight that lifts you. It is the fire that purifies you. It is the discipline that matures you. When you take responsibility for your gifts, your time, your assignments, your habits, and your decisions, you activate dimensions of potential that would have remained hidden forever. Responsibility is not a burden, it is a gate. It is the entrance into relevance, influence, excellence, and impact. Many people spend years waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect confirmation. They sit and assume clarity will fall like rain from the sky. But clarity rarely precedes movement. In most cases, clarity is the reward of movement. Destiny is not a map that reveals itself fully before you begin. It is a path that appears one step at a time as you walk. If you keep waiting to understand everything before you begin anything, you will remain trapped in cycles of stagnation, disguised as caution. The truth is that you may never feel fully ready. You may never have the full picture. You may never receive the final details, but responsibility demands that you rise even without all the answers. People who succeed in any field do not wait until they have absolute clarity. They simply begin with what they know and trust that understanding will deepen as they engage the journey. They build while learning, they adjust while moving, and they grow while doing. They know that the light never shines on the whole staircase. It shines on the next step. And the only way to see the step after that is to take the one that is already illuminated. Responsibility is the courage to walk with partial information, trusting that insight will meet you on the way. There is a deception that many have embraced, the idea that responsibility can be delegated. They assume someone else will build the dream, someone else will open the door, someone else will unlock the opportunity. But destiny is deeply personal. No one can carry your assignment for you. No one can steward your gift for you. No one can fight your battles, develop your skills, or build your discipline. You must do it yourself. You must take ownership of your calling with fierce determination. Until you take responsibility, even the greatest potential within you will remain dormant. Taking responsibility means acknowledging that your future is not shaped by luck or fate, but by the daily decisions you make. Responsibility demands consistency. You cannot expect greatness when your effort is seasonal. You cannot expect mastery when your discipline is occasional. You cannot expect transformation when your commitment is unstable. Greatness comes to those who show up again and again, even when motivation disappears, even when emotions fluctuate, even when challenges increase. Responsibility is the ability to remain aligned with your assignment, whether or not you feel inspired. It is the decision to keep moving when the excitement fades, to keep building when results seem slow, to keep showing up even when applause is absent. This is the kind of commitment that greatness responds to. There are many ideas in your heart, visions in your mind, dreams on paper, and goals you have been nurturing, but none of them will come alive until you embrace responsibility. Responsibility transforms ideas into plans, plans into actions, and actions into impact. Creativity without responsibility becomes fantasy. Passion without responsibility becomes noise. Talent without responsibility becomes wasted potential. You must be the one to take the first step, the uncomfortable step, the uncelebrated step, the step no one sees. That step is where greatness begins. Stop waiting for someone to motivate you. Stop waiting for someone to validate you. Stop waiting for perfect support. Stop waiting for the fear to disappear. Stop waiting for all the instructions. Responsibility means you move despite uncertainty. It means you study what you do not yet understand. It means you practice what you have not yet mastered. It means you start even when resources are minimal. Many people never rise because they want to begin from the top rather than start from where they are. But greatness grows upward from humble beginnings. Every giant was once a beginner. Every expert was once a novice. Every leader was once unsure. Responsibility also means taking ownership of mistakes. You cannot grow if you refuse to confront your errors. You cannot mature if you shift blame. You cannot evolve if you excuse everything. Growth comes from honest reflection. When you take responsibility for your weaknesses, you gain the power to transform them. When you acknowledge what needs improvement, you open the door for mastery. Responsibility is the soil in which correction becomes progress. Without it, failure becomes a cycle. With it, failure becomes a teacher. Stop waiting for clarity. Clarity does not come to those who sit. It comes to those who move. When you step into the unknown, you activate guidance. When you take action, you awaken direction. When you commit, you provoke alignment. The resources, connections, opportunities, and revelations you are praying for are waiting for your movement. Life will not reveal its possibilities to the one who refuses to participate. The path will not unfold for the one who remains seated. The door will not open for the one who never approaches it. You must understand that the world is full of people who felt unprepared but acted anyway. People who felt small but moved anyway. People who didn't know how but started anyway. Their greatness was not in their clarity. It was in their responsibility. They trusted that understanding would meet them on the journey. They trusted that growth would meet them in the process. They trusted that excellence would meet them through practice. The life you desire is not waiting for more prayer, more thinking, or more planning. It is waiting for responsibility. Responsibility to cultivate your mind, sharpen your skills, manage your time, prioritize your tasks, expand your capacity, discipline your habits, and build your assignments. When responsibility becomes your lifestyle, greatness becomes your identity. Every excuse is an enemy of your future. Courageous action is the gateway to your next level. Excuses are subtle thieves. They disguise themselves as reasonable explanations, logical delays, valid fears, or honest limitations. Yet beneath their polite surface lies one truth. Excuses are barriers that keep you from becoming who you were designed to be. They comfort you while quietly sabotaging you. They protect your feelings while destroying your progress. They keep you safe while keeping you small. Every time you allow an excuse to take root in your mind, you give it permission to shrink your possibilities. Excuses often sound convincing because they align with your fears. They echo the insecurities you already battle. They strengthen the doubts you already feel. They repeat the lies that say you are not capable enough, not ready enough, not qualified enough, or not supported enough. But excuses are not reflections of reality. They are reflections of hesitation. They are the voices inside you that prefer familiarity over growth, comfort over transformation, and predictability over destiny. If you listen to them long enough, they will build a cage around your life made of invisible bars, locking your future behind the illusion of safety. Many people blame circumstances, environments, or people for their stagnation, but most destinies are not destroyed by external forces. They are destroyed by internal justifications. You tell yourself that the timing is poor, yet days turn into months and months into years while nothing changes. You tell yourself you are waiting for the right conditions, but right conditions is often the birthplace of lifelong delays. You promise yourself you will start when you feel more confident, but confidence does not magically appear. It grows only from action. You postpone decisions, telling yourself you need more clarity, when in truth clarity comes only to those who move. Excuses feel safe because they absolve you of responsibility. They allow you to remain passive without feeling guilty. They let you settle without confronting your potential, but every excuse carries a cost that your future self will eventually have to pay. The price of excuses is regret, and regret is far heavier than effort. Regret whispers of what could have been, what should have been, and what was possible but never pursued. It is the painful memory of opportunities ignored and seasons wasted. The dangers of excuses lie not in what they prevent you from doing today, but in who they prevent you from becoming over time. Courageous action is the antidote to excuses. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move despite it. It is the willingness to confront uncertainty, to challenge limitation, to stand against the voice of doubt that tries to negotiate your destiny. Courageous action does not wait for assurance, it creates assurance. It does not wait for strength, it summons strength. It does not wait for the path to be clear, it steps forward and allows the path to emerge. Every significant transformation in your life will require a moment of courage. A moment where you choose growth over comfort. A moment where you silence the excuses that have governed your decisions for years. A moment where you finally realize that the future you desire cannot coexist with the excuses you keep. Courageous action is not loud or dramatic. It is often quiet. It is the small step taken when no one is watching. It is the choice to begin again after failure. It is the decision to try even when you feel unprepared. It is the discipline to show up when your emotions refuse. These small courageous actions, practiced consistently, build momentum, confidence, and mastery. When you take courageous action, you interrupt the cycle of excuses that has kept you stagnant. Movement breaks mental patterns. It disrupts fear. It reveals possibilities you never saw while sitting still. Action exposes the truth that most limitations exist only in your mind. As soon as you begin to move, you realize the mountains you feared were merely shadows. The obstacles you anticipated were exaggerated, and the barriers you worried about were never as strong as you imagined. Action awakens your potential. It activates your gifts. It amplifies your strength. It creates opportunities that excuses would have kept hidden. Every destiny requires courage because every destiny leads you into unfamiliar territory. You cannot grow by staying where you are. You cannot evolve by preserving your comfort zone. The life you desire exists on the other side of uncomfortable choices, and uncomfortable choices require courage. When you take courageous action, you expand your capacity, you stretch your mind, you unlock new versions of yourself that excuses would have kept buried. Every courageous decision carves a path toward the person you are meant to become. Excuses also blind you to the resources you already possess. You keep telling yourself you do not have enough support, enough knowledge, enough experience, or enough confidence. Yet many breakthroughs are birthed not from abundance, but from movement. You discover strength by using it. You grow in wisdom by applying it. You gain support by stepping into arenas where alignment can find you. You build experience by starting. You develop confidence by taking imperfect action repeatedly until fear loses its voice. There will always be a reason to delay. There will always be a reason to hesitate. There will always be a reason to remain where you are. But courageous people choose action not because the reasons disappear, but because their purpose demands more from them than their excuses permit. Courage is the decision to elevate purpose above fear, to elevate vision above insecurity, to elevate discipline above distraction. When purpose becomes louder than excuses, progress becomes inevitable. Your next level will not come from wishing, hoping, or imagining. It will come from doing. It will come from the uncomfortable decision to rise when everything in you prefers to stay still. It will come from confronting the excuse that has held you back the longest. It will come from replacing hesitation with action, doubt with discipline, and fear with movement. Every time you act courageously, you rewrite the script of your destiny. You teach your mind that progress is possible, that growth is attainable, and that excuses no longer have authority over your decisions. You do not need permission to begin. You do not need certainty to advance. You do not need perfection to make progress. All you need is the courage to take the next step. One step toward your purpose weakens the excuses that kept you bound. One step toward your potential strengthens the confidence that builds your future. One step toward your assignment announces to life that you are ready for more. Courageous action is the gateway to the life you have imagined, the dreams you have held, and the greatness you have always sensed within yourself.